Good morning everyone. How's everybody today? Welcome to the channel. Well, this morning we're on the road. Got on the road early this morning. She's bright and shiny. I think they're maybe calling for some thunder showers later today. Anyway, we're on our way to a little job this morning. It's a driveway repair, and I've had this job lined up for a bit, and this is the first chance I could get to go down. So we've got about an hour and a half trek to drive, and we're dealing with traffic right now. So anyway, we're heading to a driveway job. We've got the tractor and finished grader on the trailer, and when we get there we'll show you what we've got. Stay tuned. All right, we're in the tractor. We're gonna get all ready, unload this beast. See if I can get you to see it. Not the great view, but we're on the trailer. Lift the wheels up. Alrighty, we're off to go. She's a steep old incline. Look at what we got. So this is a little bit of rutting here. It's not terrible. I think 4 passes will clean this driveway up quite nicely. It's not the worstest I've seen this. There's a little hump here in the middle, but we're going to take that out. Not that far. Hopefully we don't get into any big rocks. There's some humps here a little bit because of the spinning going up this driveway. A bit of a rock right there, but we'll kick the rocks off as we work into it. Get some rutting here and there. Little bit of a pothole here. Yeah, it's not a very long stretch, so I'm going to do 4 to 6 passes here and see how we make out. Now, I can't remember if I'm supposed to do that section up there. A little bit of grass here, and we're gonna get her done. All right, here is my finished grader. You see the cylinder right there at the bottom edge of the picture. That adjusts the tongue, so that I can control how much the blades cut on the front of the machine, and there's another blade in the back that the rear tires, as you see it, the tires are going up and down, that will adjust the rear blade. So if I get too much material on the rear blade, I can lift the tires, put the tires down and lift that blade up, and it will let material out. This acts similar to a land plane, but it's a lot longer, and it does a fairly nice job. You can see what's behind the machine, that is laying it out quite nicely. Now this first pass, I figure 4 to 6 passes on this driveway now that I've drove down through and taken a better look at it. The only thorn in my side is the grass on the edge of the driveway and on the hump, and you can see it. It's catching. the sod with the roots bind up, and it doesn't let the dirt travel down the blade, and it kind of lifts up the side of the rail. So sometimes you got to back up and readjust the blade so the blade's actually cutting in the dirt. So it's just a pain, but the first pass or two, that's what you get. Now I am trying to widen it driveway out to get a little more width, so I'm going to have to deal with that sod. And you can see the sod is rolling up and over my blade and not moving down the blade on the angle that the blade is. So it's just part of the first run, and we're just going to drive up through the driveway and make this pass. Well, you can see here that I got stuck. Well, this driveway is a steady climb, and the camera just doesn't do the incline justice. So I couldn't pull the weight where I'm out on this hill. So I have to readjust, and I'm pulling too much material with all that sod, so I go over top and readjust to try to get what I can pulled up over this hump. And you gotta remember, this is the first pass, so we will work this driveway. I figure 4 to 6 passes. I'm not in a hurry, but we've got to do a nice job for the customer when it's all done. So we'll just work away at it. If it takes 8 passes, we'll do 8 passes. Just the way it is. So I'm gonna drop her in low here, and you can see I've got up through there. So I will readjust the next time I go up to take what I left on the side away from there. So it's still climbing, and like I say, it's fairly steep. In this section they had a lot of little bumps, and I believe it's because they're climbing a hill and they're spinning as they go up. Anybody have any suggestions what they could lay down on that part of the driveway where it's really steep to hold better? This is kind of a fine crusher dust. I think it's probably as good as what you're going to get. Well, I got the wagon turned around, and now I'm heading down the hill on the first pass for the opposite side of the driveway. And each pass will get easier, and there'll be less sod to pull, and it will just gradually fine-tune itself as I pull it. That's how I designed this drag, and it works fairly well. The rear blade is made with a 2-inch gap on the right hand side as you're facing the back of it, so it puts a crown on the center of the driveway. So every pass you make, it puts that crown on and lays a nice higher base in the center. So you can see behind the machine that it's laying a nice flat layer, and it just works really well. The only adjustment I'd like to do is add restrictors to the cylinders because they act a little bit too faster than I like. So if they're a little bit slower, it would be easier to fine tune. But you can see that just with 2 passes that it made a nice difference. It's pulled up the sod where I need to pull it up, and it's digging through what I need to do.
The road ahead, it twists and turns, and the sun it beats down and it burns, but I keep on pushing through. And every step quicker than the last, my feet tread down this beaten path, and I keep on pushing through.
So I think this rig is a pretty good tool to do a long driveway or just a small road. I use it on the ATV trail as well. I've done quite a bit of the trail this year with it. It is a little bit of a pain to turn around, but once you get her turned around, it certainly does the job that I'm looking for. So now we're going up the hill. We're in 2 times the speed, but you can see that it's working a little bit better. We're still getting a little bit of sod that we missed the first trip. So the front teeth are made to cut 2 inches into the ground, and then it will lay the back blade will lay the layer flat. So we are cutting the full surface of the driveway and making it fresh. Now this driveway, compared to the other driveway I did in the previous video to this one, doesn't need any gravel. The gravel that's here, there's sufficient amount of gravel. We could add some to it, but I don't think it's necessary. And we're just going to work what's here and refresh the driveway, take any of the ruts that the rain has put in it and make it flat. We're going to put a nice crown on it, and hopefully that will shed the water to the side of the driveway instead of down the driveway. Now it's going to be pretty hard to do that when you consider there's a section here that's got probably 25-degree slope on the driveway, and the camera really doesn't show it, but it is steep and it's pretty hard to pull up that hill. So we're just going to use this tool, run back and forth. I'm going to do a couple more trips until I'm satisfied with the finished product. I'm getting to the end again. I'm going to swing this bird around and go down. Now you can see there's quite a bit of just regular dirt and not gravel. So this trip, after I get turned around, I'm going to go down the opposite side of the driveway and pull all that mud or topsoil dirt, because I can pull it down the hill easier than I can pull it up the hill, down to the bottom, and I'll get rid of it down at the bottom of the driveway, down by the camp. You can see that big pile there, and we're going to drag that all down to the bottom. Alright, when I got to the bottom and turned around, I scooped all the sod and bucketed off of the road. And now I'm getting a better clear dirt pole up the driveway. And we're getting a nice cut here. The pan in the back is full. It's laying a nice smooth pass. We'll see how we work up the trail, up this road. And so far so good. I think this is pass number 3, and like still filling the rear pan, and the blades are cutting both sides pretty good, so I'm happy with the way it's working. Now we're climbing that steep part. We've got a little bit of an open blade there on the front, but the rear pan's still full, so it's cutting pretty good still. I'm happy with the way it's working. This is probably the steepest part right here, and I'm spinning a little bit, but I cleaned out the rear blade to give myself a little more power to pull up through this. And you can see the tractor's pulling hard because of the tracks that it's making. But we have a lot less sod now, and it's working out pretty good. I really need to get some restrictors in the hydraulics, because you can see there that the front cylinder is jumping really quick, and it's hard to fine tune it when I'm trying to adjust on the fly. So I've got to figure out a way to slow that down. The rear tires have a real thin hose, and they seem to be a lot slower. So maybe a thinner hose would restrict it enough to slow the movement, so it would be more controllable. So here I'm just going to drive up. I think I'm still doing a little light cut, but you can see how much difference there is in the driveway. It's got a nice even layer all the way across. It's got a 2-inch crown on most of it, and I think it turned out quite nicely. And you can see how much is it improved. The ruts that were in the road itself are gone, and all the little bumps and humps. There were some rocks showing, but I pulled those out, so it's nice and smooth. The customer was very happy, and I explained to the customer that it will probably happen again the way it was over time, so maybe they might have to get me back in a year or two to touch it up again. He did ask if there was any material they could put on the driveway to help slow it down, but I think if they put coarser material, I think it will be worse. I did tell them to try to use the whole driveway when they're driving in and out, so it will pack it down. And if I came back again, maybe it'd be a good idea to bring my roller and give it a good compaction when I'm done grading. But until that next time, that's a wrap on this driveway. I'll just let you watch the rest of the driveway as I drive up through. Alrighty, we got the trailer on board, the tractor on board, the grader on board, and we're heading to the ferry. Yeah, so we got that done. It's 11, almost 12 o'clock. So about a 5-hour job. So we're doing all right. and hopefully he's happy. I'll chat with him later. Anyway, we're on our way home. Later. So as we're going to the ferry, this is quite a bit different type of driveway than the last video. And we didn't need material, and we needed to just freshen it up. Do you think a different piece of equipment would have been better? Excavator, skid steer, maybe with Harley rake, dozer blade. Hard to say which one's quicker. I'll leave some links to some other videos, and until the next adventure, stay safe.